while the maintenance is finishing on JP, we will be talking about if you should summon on Teen Gojo, if it's worth it, what his kit does, what value does he bring to your account. We're going to get into all that. This video is for those who are on the fence. Do not yap, do not complain about my objective standpoint down below, because this is for the people who are on the fence, who are fine either summoning or not summoning, depending on how the situation is. All right. So we're going to get into all that in today's video. I'm going to lay out the facts first, and then we'll get into his kit. Then I'll talk about if you should summon. Real quick, I'm going to be streaming very soon from the time this video is uploaded. In less than 12 hours, we'll be live. We'll have the exact timing tomorrow, right? Well, I'm recording this early, so I don't know the exact timing, but when we get the exact timing, I will adjust this. And I'm going to be summoning, and if you want to do viewer summons, DM me on Discord, and most likely you'll get it. I can't get everyone because a lot of people are summoning, obviously, for Teen Gojo. But yeah, if you want to be here, want to check out with me everything we'll be getting, then just join live. Even if you can't join, I would appreciate a like on the video, link down below. Even if you can't be there, the like does help. Even on this video, like this video too. Would appreciate it greatly. So, Teen Gojo, what is there to talk about before we get into his kit? So, number one, he is a standard banner unit. He should be on the standard pool in, I would say, roughly, I'd say 7 months. 7 to 8 months. Between 7 to 10 months, you should be on the standard banner unless things change. JP should be getting a standard update on the 18th month, the 1.5 anniversary, which would translate to around 9 to 10 months in this game. All right. On the global. So that's number one. Number two, pity transfer is not going to be there. Standard banner update is not going to be there. So to me, it is losing value on your cubes by summoning on this banner. And just objectively, you will be losing out on the amount of units you could get in the future by summoning on this banner and losing out to the transferable pity, which allows you to add up to 100 pity points per banner. Understand that. If you summon on this banner, you will just have less pity points in the future, but that's probably why they're fucked up, right? They're fucked up. They should have added pity transfer on this banner, but you know why they didn't? Because if they did, people would have definitely summoned. But now it's like if you summon, you're losing out on value that we could have had. So that's another point. The biggest thing, especially with no featured edition or no unfeatured edition, is this, guys. Look who's on it. Where is it? Hollow Purple, Domain Megumi, Momo, Yellow Nanami, Red Panda might be good. For all we know, Yellow Mechamaru, Blue Toto, with this new buff coming literally in 15 minutes from time of recording, might be busted, right? Junpei is very good for higher tower floors from 50 to 60, right? So, Teen Gojo is great, but there are drawbacks. We're going to lose out on the amount of unfeatured you could get. You're going to lose out on the pity points, right? But even if you summon for Teen Gojo, you should be able to guarantee yourself Domain Gojo or Sukuna. Or you're getting one or the other guaranteed. If you summon for Teen Gojo, that means you only get one or the other. If you do not summon for Teen Gojo, that means you should easily be able to get Domain Gojo and Sukuna if you are not summoning on random shitty banners, right? If you're summoning on other banners, at that point you can't really blame the game. Like, for your gacha addiction, for your gambling addiction, that ain't the game's fault. To be fair, the game encourages it. That is fair. Right, that is fair. But I don't think you should be summoning on random banners that are shit like Blue Toto, unless he's your favorite unit, right? Then at that point, go all ahead, like I say. But understand, if you summon on Teen Gojo, you are not going to get both Sukuna and Domain Gojo unless you get lucky. Just want to put that out there. And then obviously, it's going to limit you for Shibuya units. If we understand that, let's go on ahead. What does he do? So, this guy's broken. Okay, like right now, I'd say, where do I have him on my ranking? Let me actually check that out. I actually don't know. So if we go here, I don't know where my ranking is. Here? No. It's the one before. So on my ranking, I have him number 3 in the game. So he's number 3 6 months after his release. Okay. Pretty good. Now, why is he so good? He does not leave the battle, okay? So this means he's going to be great with Pride long term, amazing with non-standard, just amazing with the easiest recollection bits to get, right? Now, what helps him is that for half the battle, for every 4 turns, 2 turns, he should have attack immunity, essentially. For every, I think, right? About? Actually, yeah, no, about. After, yeah. or like we'll say for every 5 turns, 3 turns are attack immunity. So even more than half the time by this logic, if you use the buffs correctly, you're gonna have attack immunity for the first 2 turns of battle. And this doesn't really matter unless the enemy removes attack immunity, obviously, but still something to note. And then obviously you get this Jujutsu special. Now what this does is it changes what the buff does. So if you do not have the special buff, it gives you this. If you do have the special buff, which you get by using the skill 2, it increases your damage and crit rate, okay? So it's one or the other. But now we're going to go up, start here. So 1500 alt gauge is fine because his skill 1 fills alt gauge more than other skills. It fills up a good amount, like maybe 400. I don't even know the exact amount, but you'll see when you use it, this does fill it up a lot. Now, it also has a chance to taunt the enemy, which a 35% chance. You'll see in a lot of my runs with him. Usually it does actually proc, so it is pretty nice. A very nice thing in my opinion. Now, he has a bit lower Jujutsu than the other Gojos because obviously this is pre-enlightenment Gojo. It's about 30 less, which is fine. I mean, overall, it does make a sizable difference, but it doesn't matter to him. His characteristic is when he crits, he gets increased crit damage, essentially, right? So basically, this is just increased crit damage, right? It says when crit hit is performed, increase on damage, but that is literally just crit damage increase, okay? So now that ties into the skill 2, because the skill 2, when you have the Jujutsu special active, which you will for the first 4 turns, and then after the next 5 turns, right? You're going to get an up to 90% crit rate stackable, right? Now, why this is so good is obviously because of the increased crit damage, which is going to allow him to do even more damage than the other Gojos. So not only is this giving him minimum like this giving him a minimum like 50% increase, it's giving more because of the crit damage increase, and that's busted. Now, even if you miss some of your hits on the ult, it's still 5 hits, so you should get 1 or 2 of these as crits, which is amazing. Now, besides just that, it's a 240% damage increase. Like, come on, bro. This guy is just fucking broken, right? So we're kind of done with the buff skill. We already know, like, this is making him crazy. It's almost as much of a buff damage as Blue Gojo's alongside the crit rate increase, which helps because of the crit damage while having a higher ult damage. So he has almost the biggest buff amount. In general, objectively, the highest buff damage, including the crit rate, because that's up to 50% increase. When you crit, it's a 1.5 times multiplier equals a 50% increase. But then the ult is also higher than Blue Gojo's, less than Green Gojo's, but has more buffs and then higher crit damage. So, you know, objectively, Yellow Gojo does the most, but does not leave the battle, which is crazy to think about, right? Does the most and doesn't leave the battle. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Now, skill 3 is just a debuff, decreasing the enemy's damage. You're not going to use this if I'm being real. It's either skill 1 or skill 2, because skill 1 is also stupid with the taunt. But then skill 2 either gives him attack immunity, which makes him immune to everything, or makes him giga busted, broken nuclear bomb level. Now, his ult is going to be 1500% Jujutsu, okay? Considering it's AoE and it's 5 hits, the 5 hits is super good because, like I said, more chances to get the crit. It's not 1 or 0. Obviously, if you get the crit, it's better. But let's say you don't get the crit, right? Happens for me with Sukuna, like 4 out of 8, 6 out of 8. I don't get the crits, and I'm super unlucky with those. So having 5 hits is more, it's just better. It is just better, for sure, for sure. For sure. If you want to go for dupes, 1 dupe max, I personally recommend 0 dupes because you don't even need dupes on this guy, in my opinion. You could clear all the content that you need to without dupes. So, should you summon? Honestly, if you are like on the edge, summoning is not a bad idea if you need a yellow. If you've got, like, for example, yellow Nobara, yellow Degumi, right? I'd even wait. If you're fine getting Zonji because of pity transfer, then great. Zonji and Tinjo are going to be amazing in the new game mode, and Zonji gets a mini buff because he has 10 extra CE with the new power-up system on JP. So the thing is, right, Tinjo is great. Problem is, no pity transfer. Huge letdown, right? Huge letdown. But this guy is amazing in tower, going to continue to be amazing unless they do some weird shit. And in the new game mode, right, this game mode, which I'm going to pull up, this game mode, right, he's going to be good because there are 3 phases in this that damage blocks you. Okay, what I mean by that is you cannot bypass this damage until you reach the next phase. There's 3 phases. Phase 1, it's only like 3 million, but it's split between like 3 ranks, right? So once you finish that 3rd rank, you go, whatever rank it is, you go on to phase 2. Boom, you're stopped on damage, which is good for Tinjo because he's going to live those 17 turns when Gojos are not. So this Tinjo, especially for yellow, obviously, is going to be great, but he could even work type disadvantage to allow you to clear in some of those instances. So his value is definitely there. Just realize what you're forfeiting by summoning for this guy, because you could still clear with Hanami and Mahito strats without him, but with Tinjo, it's going to be fun, easy, and I mean, it's Gojo, right? So there is that, but he's going to be amazing for this game mode to basically easy ace some of your units and give buffs to the rest, right? So that's going to be great. Now, honestly, though, like, I mean, for most free-to-plays, if it was my account, like, to min-max, I would skip. Just being objectively, this is my objective standpoint, I would skip. Do you want to summon? Go ahead. He's great in everything. I just glazed him for a ton of time. But like I said, like every unit, you don't need every single unit in this game. You don't need every single broken unit. You don't even need domain Gojo in this game. Okay. So I want to make sure that's clear. But if you are summoning, let me know down below. I think most people are. Definitely fair. We probably are not getting another Gojo for a while. And he is the best DPS Gojo, right? Domain Gojo is obviously the best support Gojo. But yeah, this guy definitely is worth it. Just, you know, you don't need to go crazy. 1 Gojo and done. Okay, if you get lucky, then big W, because that means you could get Sukuna and Domain Gojo. Maybe both of them, right? If you're lucky, so that's huge. You do not need his recollection bit, by the way. You don't need the recollection bit, so you're fine just getting Tinjo. With that said, I'm done. I mean, hey, I think it's pretty obvious. If you want to summon, go for it. Like, there's nothing stopping you, but just hope you get lucky, essentially. That's literally it. That's all you could hope for, because if you get unlucky, your account might be just fucked over, which is, you kind of have to get lucky again because of how little pulls JJK gives. But I digress. Remember, standard unit, so he's going to be there in like 6-7 months probably. It's a while away. I understand that. Definitely going for Tinjo now is not going to hurt even for the future. With that said, I'm done. I don't got more to say. He's great. Definitely a unit you could summon for, not a must summon. No one in this game is a must summon. You use your discretion is advised, right? Just listen to what I said about his kit. You decide for yourself. Do you need him or do you want Sukuna and Domain Gojo? Up to you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.